What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jay Rene with Prison Ride Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This morning, I got a good brother on the phone by the name of Joseph P. Langdon. Okay, I've been getting to know him for a couple of months. Real solid brother. He's doing some amazing things, and we're just gonna chop it up with him. See what's good with him and see what he got going on. Good morning.
Good morning, sister. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing phenomenal. I know a lot of people who aren't. So with that being said, I feel great, blessed, and I'm marching.
Okay, no, that's what's up. I ain't mad at that at all. So let me let you know, we appreciate you for coming on. I'm trying to get up with you for a minute. So finally, the time is now, right on time.
For sure.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Joseph P. Langdon. I'm from Brooklyn, Brownsville, for those who may not understand New York City area, because there's so many areas in Brooklyn. But my particular section is called Brownsville. Brownsville houses to be Pacific. I was born and raised there. And the thing about it is this. As I grew up in this neighborhood, all I seen around me was like common things. It was just everything looked simple. Like, it wasn't nothing out of place. It was nothing wrong with where I came from, because this is all you know when you come out the womb, right? Mm-hmm. So Brownsville was just like, like any other neighborhood where they barbecue. We got Brownsville Day, and it's a community that I must say that we all know each other, because we all raised around the same, parts. So that's where I come from. I'm proud of being from Brownsville, because it taught me so many different survival skills. And that's the moral of my story. Coming from Brooklyn, it really gave me a thick skin, having that New York state of mind. You feel me?
Yeah, I know a lot of cool people from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? So that's what's up for sure. I know that you did some time behind the G-Wall.
Yeah.
How long did you do?
Well, I did 22 years. I would say in 1998, I was arrested, and a year or two later, I was sentenced to 22 years in prison.
How
in which I did I was 19 years old. I was 19 when I went in. I just was released probably 1 year ago. Okay. So from 19 years old to 41, I was in prison. So I went in prison with a young man waist and came out with an old man face. You dig? Right. And I say that as a joke, but it's really not. It's really a reality. And while I was in prison during that time, I didn't really even know if I was going to ever get out or not. You know what I mean? So those are the choices we make, and that's what happened to me ultimately. Put in this box,
day, right?
Yeah. I did 22 years straight. I never got out. From 19 to the age of 41, I was in this box. I was in 14 different institutions, sent from state to state. So it's very traumatic, especially coming from where I come from, where we are programmed and designed to be prepared for prison. Coming from juvenile facilities, as I was also in juvenile facilities, group homes, foster homes, detention homes, everything you could think of prior to me going to prison for 22 years. So by all designs, I'm supposed to be institutionalized,
That 22 years is a long time, especially adding on the experiences you had as a youth. So, like, how did you make it to this side? Like, how did you make it here now? What kept you going?
Well, this is the Riot Radio show. We keep it funky over here. So I must admit, when I first went to prison, I didn't change my life at all. I was actually victimized by the prison system, because if you look at my neighborhood, if you look up Brownsville houses, 350 Blake and Gaston, where I'm from, you will see a complete mirror image of the prison systems where we go, which means the transformation and transition from the ghetto to a prison really isn't a transition, because we already surrounded around these type of environments and individuals already. So coming out of the juvenile system, coming out of the hood, and going into a prison system, I fell in line with the gang culture. I fell in line with the gang culture. So the first 10 years of my incarceration, I must admit, I didn't even know I was in prison. No, let me say that again. For the first 10 years of my incarceration, I did not even realize I was in a prison, because the people I knew was in this place with me. They had food, they had contraband, they had things that reminded me of the hood, so I felt comfortable in this environment. Yeah, I felt comfortable in that environment.
I understand exactly what you mean. Like you said, institutionalized, that's a real thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very real thing, and especially growing up where you grew up, it, like you said, it was just like a pathway, and that's why you felt comfortable. If you had came maybe from somewhere else and then put into that situation, you'd have been like, this is not it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a great point. Now, people who make mistakes and go to prison, right? Especially the people who may not even committed the crime. Let's just use that for example. And they're put in these foreign lands, remote prisons, far underground, far away from their families, hundreds and hundreds of miles away. It's harder for them to adapt to this environment because this environment wasn't in their mind.
Right.
You see? They didn't have a prison mentality. So they can't adapt to that. But people who have a prison mentality, and I say prison, it doesn't have to be a physical prison, but a prison in your mind, a prison in your spirit where you're unbalanced. You can find an environment like a prison, like a real physical prison, and blend in and find a way to adapt to it, because this is all you know. Chaos, rage, anger, depression, stress,
being
violence.
Confined, yeah.
You know? Yeah. So you become mentally, you can cope with it mentally, and then you just say, hey, I'm going to find the best out of it. Because even if you don't like the environment, we're told to stand tall. We're told to accept these consequences, never to fold, right?
Right.
And to embrace this reality, because this is a part of our destiny. This is what we are taught.
Dang, bro, you said a mouthful there. We definitely got to make sure we build some more. But let's go forward. So you are an author. Congratulations on that accomplishment. Tell us about that. Tell us the name of your book and what got you interested in writing.
Well, this is a powerful story right here.
Okay.
When you think of Joseph P. Langdon, what you're gonna think about is a miracle. That's what I want you to think about. When you think about my name, I want you to make it synonymous with a miracle, because this is miraculous in which happened to me. Well, to rewind, first and foremost, I met a man named Kareem R. Ellis, who is a professional speaker, the #1 breakthrough strategist in the world. And I met him in my 17th year in prison. And as I walked down the hallway, I tell this story all the time, I had a shank, and I had the biggest shank that you could think of on me. I had a cell phone and many other contraband items that I wouldn't even want to talk about right now. But as I walked down the hallway, this man said something, and I looked back. I thought it was a correctional officer. I was ready to run. This is like the streets. You got a weapon on you, got drugs on you, got cell phones, contraband. You got to go.
Yeah.
So when I looked back and I turned around, I seen this man that was dressed impeccable. And when I say impeccable, y'all, I mean impeccable from the head to the toe. And I'm a man's man. But when I see him, I said, man, this guy right here looks like he's doing something. So he was like, come in this class. So I go into class. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know who he was, anything like that. All I just seen was this man who had a powerful message, and I knew to be conscious of messengers, right? Because I had so many come in my life, and at this time I'm in my 30s, so I was very aware of what's going on. I didn't have no formal plan in that, so I just looked at him as messenger. So long story short, he come in there, he said, hey, he's a professional speaker, he's telling me he own Porsches, he telling me he own all these different things. So I asked him, like, hey man, you ain't sell dope to get this? No, this is what I do, blah, 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 blah. So he gave me his business card. Mind you, I have 4 years left in prison. 4 years left. He gave me his business card, He said, hey, go to this Toastmaster class. If you ever hear about it, go to it. Ironically, a month or two later, I get sent to another prison. I get shipped. So I go to this prison. I happen to see a Toastmaster class.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I say, man, let me go in there, because I remember that dude that was dressed so fly, like he, was talking about them Porsches. Man, let me go in there and see what he was talking about. So I go in this class, and unbeknownst to me, I fall in love with the class. I'm like, man, they talking about they building my communication skills and leadership skills. I was already a communication and leadership expert, because I was dealing with the gangs, and I was dealing with grown men, goons that I had to sometimes calm down and be diplomatic with. So I already had that already down pat. So, but before let me say this before I go any further. I asked this man Kareem, hey, do you think I got a story to tell? And he said, yes, you do. So now fast forward, I go back to the Toastmaster class. I'm in here, so I fall in love with it. Now this class usually take about 10 months for somebody to pass it. I passed it in like 90 days.
Wow.
So
you was on it.
So this, I killed it. I was killing it since I was killing it, and I found the passion. And I said, man, if I could continue to do this like this, I might can do something with this. So I started excelling in class. I never heard from Kareem again. So one day I'm talking to my brother who's also a book author. His name is Langdon. He's a film developer. He's been all around the world. He's actually about to be a doctor. So let's give salutes to my big brother, Langdon, right?
Go ahead, big brother.
So, yeah, he's doing his thing. So he told me one day, I had like 4 years left of my prison sentence. He said, bro, you should write a book. I said, write a book? Like, I don't know how to write no book. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like, who want to hear what I got to say? He's like, bro, man, I'm telling you, man, the things you're doing in there, people want to hear about that. Your story, people want to hear about that. So I actually sat there and wrote the book in 3 weeks. The book is called From the Sandbox to the Cell Block. A story, a struggle, oppression, but don't forget redemption. And that's the main part of the story, the redemption part. I don't want people to hear the oppression and the struggle and think it's a black or white thing or some type of racial thing. It's not. This is just an injustice to any human being and the process that I had to go to become who I am. So I took my brother on his goals of me writing a book. This was his goal for me, and I made it my goal. And in about 3 weeks, I wrote that book, and I said, man, I'm gonna write another book.
Right.
So I wrote 3 books.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Knock them out then.
So, yeah, I just the point I'm trying to make to those who are out there who are listening or who may listen to this is this. You never know who might come into your life to give you a redirection to reevaluate yourself. Let me say that again. You never know who's going to be a messenger. You never know who's going to come in the form of a human being to give you advice about yourself that you should be doing. Because people will see things in you that you might not be able to see in yourself. Right? And so Kareem R. Ellis, he's seen something in me that I ain't see in myself. My brother seen something in me that I ain't see in myself. And then I started believing the things that they believed about me.
Wow. Damn.
Make sense?
Yeah, it make a lot of sense. That's how you have people that give other people chances and mentor them and stuff. Because we see something in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad, that it was in you. I'm glad they saw it in you. And I appreciate and glad that you see it in yourself now. But you don't keep it to yourself. You know what I mean? You're not that type of brother. So that brings me right up to No Comrades Left Behind. I talked about this before with Jay Burton, free Jay Burton. But, let's get your perspective of it.
Once again, my brother, I'm not the type of person that keep credit to myself, right? You have to first always acknowledge the people that help you along the way. See, people may say they self-made, but that's not necessarily true. Everybody needed somebody to help them become self-made. You might have had self-determination, but it's the people around you who inspire you. So one day my brother was like, yo, man, we was building about some names, and he came up with the name No Comrades Left Behind. My brother, Natural Langdon. And I said, bro, that's raw right there. He's like, yeah, because you're not leaving nobody behind. So I said, you know what? And me and my brother have a relationship that when we speak, we make knowledge born. And for those who don't know what knowledge born means, that means any idea and concepts that we have and we believe can be dressed up and brought to reality, brought into a living, breathing organism. We do it. So, knowledge born, right? When you have the knowledge, right? is when you take a concept and you make it a reality. So when we say knowledge is born, we're saying that the knowledge that you have, the information, the concepts, these thoughts that run through your mind all day, right, they can be brought to reality. And that's the type of people you have to surround yourself with, people who will make their knowledge born, who will take their concepts and make them a living, breathing organism. It has to be real. It has to be real. It cannot just be a concept. It has to be something that can be conceptualized.
Right, that point.
Right? Vividly seen. Right? And then when you're able to do that, there's no limits. So with no comrades left behind, that was my vision. And then I say, yo, how can we broaden this? Right? How can we broaden this where we're not just tapping into one demographic, but we're tapping into the world, because this is a world's problem. Right? What we're going through right now, the world can actually heal themselves if we all was in alignment with each other. White, black, brown, Hispanic, state to state, nation to nation, west to the coast, to the east, and back and forth to the, the middle passage, which I would call the Midwest. Right? So we have the power, if we tapped in the information, to connect with the right people in networking form, because your networking skills will provide your net worth, right? Network is your net worth, right? So the more people you know and you can utilize and they can utilize you, that's more income, that's more richness spiritually and mentally, because we know that we accomplish things in one accord, in concert, right? So no comrades left behind was to be able to tap into the women, to be able to tap into the men, to be able to tap into the youth, to be able to tap into the old, and be able to share common thread, which is love, peace, and happiness, right? And prosperity, right? So that's what No Comrades became to me. I became the manifestation of it. And then I knew that I need effective people to be able to take this mission to a different, a whole different level.
Right.
That's when I implemented my brother Jay Burton, because he convinced me from a prison that he is also a messenger, right? Because messengers are held everywhere, right? It's up for us, the sheep, to listen to the message, right? So I say that to say this: No Comrades Left Behind has become a global movement. And because we're thinking globally, we're not thinking locally.
Right.
We're talking about empowering our sisters, because our women are vital in the movement. And the movement is not a movement of, hey, fight the power, all that stuff. The movement is more so to financially make sure everybody's literate, to know how money works for you and how you can make money work against you. Because if you know both these things, you'll be able to have an opportunity and a choice to say, hey, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. So No Comrades Left Behind in its totality is basically everything we do, and expertise is teachable, so someone else can take what we're doing and replicate it and be successful as well.
Yeah, that's dope. You already know. I was just sitting here listening to you. I had a big old Kool-Aid smile on my face, because I love to see it, man, because so much so on the internet, you see just so many bad examples of the black woman and the black man relationship. What it could be, what it is, what it should be. You know what I mean? So things like this, spaces that we create, just like this, us having a conversation, and the ones in the future that we hope to create, I just love it. I just love to see it together, because that's important, and that's how we gonna win. We can't win divided. That's why we were divided so much so. Out of everybody, we're the ones that was divided the most. And if you know your history, we created everything. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that is dope. That's dope right there, what you're saying is. And actually, that's why, I make sure that I'm everywhere, right? I try to tap into everything. Of course, I'm turning some things down that's counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. And ultimately, what I'm trying to do is breed other leaders, communication leaders, who can be able to be bilingual, meaning they can speak to the hood, but also speak to corporate America. They can speak with ebonics, but they can also speak what they consider an eloquent tone, however you want to give it to them. So this is what we breed in people who can be able to have dual personalities, right? Not identity disorder, right, or identity crisis, but a dual personality, being able to maneuver through every type of
the ability
atmosphere.
to adapt.
Yeah,
It's a
and have the
wonderful trait to
confidence
have.
and have the confidence to be able to challenge anybody's concept because they now have the ability to think for themselves opposed to somebody thinking for them. Yeah. And this is what this is about, and that's the problem in America. The problem in America right now, from my opinion, because I've been exposed to it from so many different angles, is that when you go to these poor, low-income areas, right, their communication skills, right, how they are able to bring clarity to what they're saying is not really effective in this day and time. So what happens is they suppress things, they repress what they feel until they bottle it up, and then they can't take no more because they don't know how to explain how they feel.
Right.
So imagine this. If someone say, "Hey, listen, brother. Hey, listen, sister," and they're speaking about business or economics, right? Now, if you don't know nothing about business or economics, that's a language that you never heard of. It becomes foreign to you. Mm-hmm. So you would not even want to be around them. Like, I'm talking about a young person. They wouldn't say, "Hey, what this man or what this woman is saying is so interesting, I want to sit here, even though I don't understand it." What they'll do will run away from it because they don't understand what you're saying. So we have to make it simple for they can know that, hey, I am a hustler or I am a grinder or I'm whatever. But if I can incorporate this into real estate, if I can incorporate this into my own personal entrepreneurship, what can happen is I can change the dynamics of my life. And that's what we have to feed the people, that the people around you, the people that you surround yourself with, are the people essentially who's going to dictate if you're successful or not. Because you are the people you surround yourself with. Am I right or wrong, sister?
You're right. You can't help to be. Mm-hmm. You can't help to be. It's going to eventually do what it do and rub off on you. You feel me? Sure. If they're doing big things, it's going to inspire you. Like, man, I want to do big things. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I used to do that to my big sis Tia, man. Like, she motivates me without a word. She's like, yeah, I got to go to Cali. I got to do this. I'm like, I want to go to Cali.
I want to go to Cali.
She was like, well, do what you got to do to go to Cali then. I was like, bet. You know what I mean?
So, she did her thing. And that's exactly what she did was what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Right? Because you have a story of a man who did 22 years in prison, right? I am now an entrepreneur. I own my own business, Joseph P. Langdon Enterprise, LLC.
Okay.
I am also the owner of my own book publishing company, which is Joseph P. Langdon LLC as well.
Okay.
But I'm also a student of all the greats, right? So when I say the key to success is knowing that the people around you will protect your brand, they will share your brand, and they will tell people about how powerful you are, and you just need to be a part of this. Those are the people who have things on their mind. Those are the people who want to see themselves successful in their pursuit of happiness as well. Basically, we have to surround ourselves with people who are doing things, people who have things to lose. Mm-hmm. If you're surrounding yourself with people who have nothing to lose, they will sacrifice you as well. Mm-hmm. But when you deal with people who have things to lose and they have things on their mind, agendas, goals, platforms, effectively changing however or whatever arena they're in, those are the people you have to figure out a way to be able to tap in and not become just a mentee, but become an investment. You have to become an investment. Anywhere you go, anything you do, you have to become triple your worth. So people don't see you as a debt or a liability, but they see you as an investment. They see you as somebody they can invest in, and you can invest back into them by performing at a high level. Do that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. Good knowledge to drop. Good knowledge. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. You know what I mean? It's definitely been a pleasure speaking with you. This is not going to be the last time. We're in a lot of, rooms together. So we're trying to do some big things. So
big things coming.
Yeah, so big things coming. Let's talk about the future. What you got going or what you plan, aspiring to do?
Well, right now I'm in the Kareem R. Ellis GPS Success Masterclass. He's one of the proteges of Les Brown, but don't get it twisted. He's been holding him down for many years now before he even stepped into those arenas. So I'm being groomed. I'm being sharpened by a professional, an expert who has given me all the information I need so I can properly give it to the people of the world. So with that being said, we have a big movement going on. Jay Rene is a part of it, without doubt. Without doubt, and I have to repeat that because I need people to understand that these relationships that we are forging, me, Jay Rene, and Jay Rene with other different people who are trying to change the world and inspire the world, we are friends outside of these cameras and things like that. Mm-hmm. So when we speak, we're speaking to each other, we're listening to each other because we are learning from each other, but we are also teaching the world. So from the West Coast to the East Coast and in between, we have a movement that is going to be so powerful and impactful where we're attacking the music industry. Mm-hmm. We're teaching through book writing. Mm-hmm. We're teaching through oratorial skills. We're teaching through communication skills because we know that effectively to change people's mindset, we have to first change how they think, how they communicate, how the words that come out their mouth. You'll be conscious of that once you understand what words can do, how they can heal, and how they can also kill, right? Mm-hmm. So, no comrades left behind. Along with our coast movement we have going on, we'll speak about that in future episodes. It's going to be powerful, and if I give it to you now, you're going to be begging us for more. So I'm just going to just keep it like that. But we're attacking the music industry. We have a documentary coming out, Free Jay Bird and Godson Buried Alive. That's coming out real soon. We have the NCLB movement where we have the Zay Fit. We have a clothing line coming out. Well, it's already out. We have a psychologist. So we're dealing with what you consider being able to tap into every arena so everybody can feel inclusive and a part of what's going on so we can all be fruitful at the same time. It's nothing like being fruitful at the same time, but also creating jobs for other people and solutions for them. So ultimately, that's what we're about. We're just trying to create solutions from coast to coast. We're talking to the Bloods, the Crips, the Folks, the Kings, and every other gang that's banging. We're trying to transform their mindset from killing each other to learning how to do business with each other. You know, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I'm glad I'm going to be there with my sleeves rolled up.
Facts. You see, for those who don't know, I don't know if y'all think, you know, Jay Rene is just Prison Writing Radio. Prison Writing Radio is just a part of her. But deeply, in the deep of this woman, lies a beautiful soul, someone who's effectively changing with her voice and doing great things. So please, anybody that's listening, share these videos, share these episodes with your family because these are powerful information coming from people who lived it, experienced it. We're not up here doing catfish. Right. You know, we are really teaching the world, and Jay Rene's voice is very powerful. So tap in.
I appreciate that, bruh. Thank you. For sure. And you as well. I extend that back to you. Like I said,
for sure.
You're a really dope brother. You know what I mean? Strong black man. I see you doing your thing. You are doing your thing. You know what I mean? And you definitely got a story. And I appreciate you sitting with me and my listeners and, giving up the goods, the gems. That's, you know what I mean? I appreciate it.
That's what we do. That's what we do, baby girl. So y'all all out there, don't forget, every day can be your last day. Don't forget, don't allow your dreams and aspirations to die with you. Make sure they live on. And with that being said, your network is your net worth.